Okay, so good afternoon, if you would, and second half, Friday afternoon. We left off this morning on sequencing. What I've been doing is going through that module that we had to do on building a book using Lightroom Classic, the book module. So going through the slides in terms of taking you through how to do it. What I want to do this afternoon is kind of open it up to Q&A and probably do a little bit of hands-on. We will be jumping ahead, so to speak, and by jumping ahead, I mean I wanted to finish the module before we actually started work on the book, but I think we can kind of do both. We can kind of merge them if we would. So I think what we're going to do this afternoon is just jump directly into that, and then it's going to show you how this tool works. We did a little bit of this just prior to the class ending last session, but we'll spend a little bit more time with it now. One of the first things you want to do before you create a book module in Lightroom using Blurb is to create an account with Blurb. If you don't already have an account, you'll have to do that. It's a very simple process, very simple procedure. All they ask you for is your email address and your password, and to create a password. Once you attempt to set that account up, they will send you a confirmation to your email to verify that it is you, in fact, that is setting up the account. So let me show you what that looks like real quick. I'll go directly to their website to do some. I'm going to do a share screen here. And that's the module that that's where we left off this afternoon. Let's close that down. And I'm just going to go into a browser. Can everybody see screen already? All right at this point?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so let's move this out of the way here. And I'm getting some stuff out. I'm going to go direct into a browser. That's where I want to go. Where is it? Where's my browser? There it is there. Okay. So what you're looking at is my browser. I'm using Opera. I've got the Blurb account bookmarked on my desktop, but if you don't have it bookmarked, this is how you get to it. You can just type in blurb.com. And it can take
Can you make that bigger, Bob?
I cannot make it any bigger. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. No, I can't make that any bigger. If you want a, let me go back and do that again. But you want to go to URL, and what you want to type in is blrub.com. And that's just any search bar on your browser. And once you click on blurb.com, it'll bring up a couple of things. So you want to get to the online place. So it's blurb.com. You can pick any one of those pretty much. Let's go this one here first. Very one on the top. And it takes you to something that looks like this. And I've already got an account created, so it asked me to go ahead and log in. Or log out. And I think I already logged in at this point in time. But once you get here, you can create your account, and you want to log into your account. I'm already logged in. Let's see. Let's see if I can log out and make that look like it would look like for you. There you go. Okay. All right. This is what it should look like for you once you try to create that account. And it'll come up. It'll say sign up. And of course, you would click on that and sign up. When you sign up, you put your email address in there, you put your username in there, and your username is typically whatever you want to call it. I choose Bob GlickSmith, and then you create a password and you click sign up. Is everybody seeing that okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, but you have to set the account up first. And let's see if I can just do this. And I'll see what it'll do. It'll probably tell them I'm already in use, but let's just go through the process. So you have to create your account first, bobglicksmith.com at me.com. Usernames, let's try BOBGLICKSMITH. And it only takes, how many characters is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It'll allow you to put in 12 characters. So BOBGLICKSMITH. It doesn't allow you to put the H in there. And then I'll click password and create a password. Now, when I go to log in, I just type in Bob GlickSmith with the H on it, and it drops the H off and allows me to log in, is what it allows me to do. But that's how you would create your account. Once you do that and hit sign up, they will send an email confirmation to your inbox. And until you click on that link that they send you, it will not create the account for you. So I've already got an account signed up. I was wondering if I could sign up under another name. I don't want to do that because I'd have some issues there. But once you do that, you click sign up and you agree to their terms and conditions, etc. So once you get all that set up, then you've got an account that you want to work with in Blurred. I already got one. I'm going to hit login up here at the top of the screen. And then I'll type in my email address. And from my email address, I can type in my password. I think I'm already logged in, but let's see. And then once I do that, I click log in, and it should take me to my dashboard. Yeah, it does. Okay, so I'm looking at my dashboard at this point in time. Let's get out of this one up here then. Don't need that. And you can log in several times on multiple devices or multiple web browsers. I don't know how they do that, but that's something that you can do. So, but you have to create this. You have to create this account before you can upload your books. You can work on your books in Blur in Lightroom, but you can't upload a book until you create this account. And if you don't have that, and this is just one of the steps you may want to go ahead and take care of first before you do so. Once you upload a book, it'll give you 15 days or so to order the book. If you do not order the book within the time period, it'll delete the book for you. Here's a book that I ordered 9 days ago, apparently. And it says you have 6 days left to order this book. If not, what they'll do, they'll send you a note, your book up here, we're going to delete it if you don't order anything. If you want to play with the book back and forth, which is what I basically will do, I'll upload it and reload it as often as I need it to get the time out that I need to. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and delete this book here. Now I'm going to upload another book just to show you how that works. This one's just ordered this morning. Let's set up this morning. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this book here. I'll just delete it. And click OK, and then refresh it, and the book should go away. Okay, are you following this so far at this point, folks?
So far, so good.
Okay, good.
I set up mine. It's quick.
Okay, yeah, it's just not it's a very easy process to do. All right, so now when I come back down into the Lightroom module, and when you come back into your Lightroom module, this is where you're going to do your you're going to set up your book, actually do the work in your book, but you got to create a collection first. So the first step is to create the Blurred login. Second step is to go back into Lightroom, the Lightroom library, and create a collection. So this is how you create a collection. And then we're going to start actually working on a book. Now, this is, I just went through some of my old files. This is on one of my external drives called Mighty Mac. And I tried to find a small group of images. This is like 481 images from the 2018. It was Bill Kimber's Golf Classic type of deal. Went out and did some work for them. But it was fairly, the reason I selected it because it's fairly, it's in order based on when we started, when we got there, what we did when we got there, etc. So I go into library, select a group of photographs I want to work with. And at this point, what I'm going to do is and if I'm going too fast, slow me down because I do have a tendency to go fast. So I'm going to go I'm in library module. I could be in develop module. And I've got no filters, so it's showing all of the photographs, 481 of them. But I've already gone through the images and selected them down to what I want to use for this particular book. So in that case, I go over and turn my filters on. I turn on Rate It. I've got rated 1 star, and it gave me 165 images. That's far too many, more than I want. So I go to my second level processing, which gave me about 45 images out of that 168 or so. If I want to check to see if I took it to a level higher, I click that. I didn't go any higher than 2 stars. Okay, so this is what I want to use for my for my book. I've got 45 images. And the reason I asked you to pick up 50 to 90 images, it'll give you some editing capability. You can go through and eliminate some images and reset up some images, etc. So this is what I did. This is what I brought in from that 481 images. I got about 45 out of it that I want to put into a book. I'm still in develop module. So keep that in mind. So I am still in develop module. So there's a number of ways to create a collection. Your next step is to create a collection. I've decided that these are the 45 images that I want to work with in my book. So how do I get them into a collection? You can go directly into your book module from here, but it's much easier to work with what you put in a collection versus picking and choosing out of your develop module or out of your library. So it's much easier to put everything in one bucket so you know where things are to start with. All right, does that raise any questions at this point before we go to that step of it?
I had a question.
Sure, go ahead, Toya.
So before you create the collection, you're in the develop module to choose what?
The images that you want to put into the collection.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I already have some in the collection. Gotcha.
Yeah, so the images that you want to put in the collection bucket is basically one bucket where you got all the stuff that you want to work with. If you have completed something in your develop module and it's just that one set of images in that develop module or that one album that you've created, this is basically an album here on the bottom here. But you may want to use images that are in another album. You may want to bring some stuff together. So you may have two or three different albums, for lack of a better term, for the strip that you want to add into one collection. You want to make sure you get everything in one bucket first. Otherwise, you're going to be going out, coming back in, going out, coming back in. But if you get them all in one collection, you can start your book from there. I think you can actually start a book from here. I've got these selected. If I go over to the book module, let's see. I'm not going to. I don't want to go into this what if mode at this point in time. So let's just follow these steps here. Get them selected out of your albums. This is an album, and get them into a collection. The way you get them into a collection, I've got them selected now. I've got the album that I want to use. I'm going to select all of them. I've got 45 images across here, and I'm going to select all of them by hitting the Control A or the Command A key. I've selected the image number 1. If I hit Command A or Control A, let's go here, and it selects all of them. Now the computer may be lagging a little bit because I'm running through the Zoom link. So it may be lagging. I hit the Control A a couple of times before I actually did this, but you'll see everything is highlighted at this point in time. I'm gonna go back and unhighlight that. I clicked on the number 1. The one that's selected will be lightly gray, but once I select them all, they'll all be grayed out. So I'm going to do a Command A, and that everything now has been selected out. So I've got 45 images selected, and you'll see that on the the information tag line in Lightroom. It says 45 of 481 photos, 45 have been selected. That's what you see down here in the bottom there. All right. The next step is you still got those selected, go to library mode, and then go down to collections, your collection module. Collections be kind of tricky, and then, like I said, there's a number of ways to do it. So I'm going to go down to go into library mode, go down to your collections module, click on the plus sign. Once you click on the plus sign, you get a box that flies out that says create collection, create smart collection, create collection set. In this case, you want to create a collection. This is not in any other collection, so it's going to create a new collection. I click create collection. And then you'll see, it'll say include selected photos. And at this point, you want to name your collection. Let's call it Bill Kimber Golf Outing. And I think it was 2020 02118. That's the date of it. 2020-0218. And it said that's the name of it, include selected options. And then you simply hit create. And what it should do is should set up in your collections box this album. Let's go ahead and do that. Are you guys following me so far?
Follow it.
Okay, all right. Here we go. So I click create. So now it took those 45 images and put them into the collections folder, bucket, folder, whatever you call it, in an album called Bill Kimber Golf Outing 45. And there they are. So now I'm out of my external drive where I got them from, which is in a drive called Mighty Mac. And I'm going to close that drive off at this point, and then just go down to my collections folder or collections bucket and click on that album. I've got them highlighted. So there they are. Those are the 45 that I want to use for my book. Okay, everybody follow that? Okay.
Yeah, I got a question.
Okay.
Now, your album that you're removing those pictures from, and you're taking them over to collections.
Yeah.
Now, if you just would it be easier if you had a flash drive? You just put the flash drive in and just move the picture from the album and onto the flash drive. So when you have the 45 pictures on the flash drive and you're ready to place them in the book, you just plug the flash drive in and they all pop up.
Yeah, you could do it that way, but that
Okay.
flash drive would have to be attached. If that flash drive is not attached, you won't be able to find your images. And again, you're working in conjunction with Lightroom. So what I would suggest doing is using it the way Lightroom has set it up. You can source your images from any place, and what you describe is just an external drive or flash drive. And what it sounds like you may be doing is moving stuff off to a flash drive and then plugging it back in when you get ready to do so. This way, you don't have to worry about the flash drive. If you put it in a collections bucket that is housed inside of Lightroom, then it's always there when you get ready to work on it.
Okay.
So, and that's what I would suggest that you do.
Okay.
And once you get to the point of understanding how all this flows, if you want to start modifying, you can do that.
Okay.
But at this point, let's just work the process first and then look at the modification a little bit later on.
Okay.
I think Cal Starr and then Sharon C had questions. So Cal, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I'm receiving first.
Okay. So Sharon C, go ahead. Castle.
Okay. Bob, you have your collection at this point. If you decide that you want to add more images to that collection, you go out, you import them in, go to develop them, and you want to put them in that same collection, would you be able to do that?
You should be able to, yeah. You can build upon this collection. For an example, Bill Kimber, right now I've just got Bill Kimber in there, but just for an example, say this is day 1. If you had day 2, you could go back and bring those out as well. But you'd have to go back out into your library module, go back into wherever you've got them stored,
Right.
locate them, select them all, and then drag them to the collection bucket, the one that you've created. Yeah, you can do that as well.
Okay, so you could just do a drag and drop.
Yeah, basically it's a drag and drop is what you're basically being done.
You can do
Okay.
them one at a time too.
You can do them one at a time.
That's what I figured that out because I only had 1 or 2, so I just drew 1 at a time.
Yeah, that
But it's
can
easier now that I see the selection ball. Thank you.
yeah, you can do that as well, but it's easier to do one at a time. All right, so
Okay.
now that I've got them in here, and then we'll go back and redo this a couple times. I'll show you how that actually works as well. This family reunion that Teddy and I shot last week, we did those on day 1, day 2, day 3. I think there was a subset of day 2 because I had to go back and do the same thing with those, and I'll walk you through that. But that's kind of jumping a little bit further ahead than I want to jump at this point in time. So what I want to show you how to do is just how to create a collection, and the next step would how to add to that collection. And I'll show you
Okay.
how to do that.
All right, great. Thank you.
Okay, so now that we've got them there, and there's the module there. So at this point, I'll just move directly to my book module. I've got them all here. And you can deselect them just by clicking on one of them. But I still got one selected. I mean, while you're in that film strip, something's going to be selected at all times. Okay, but I'm in my library module, and I'm in the library module at this point, and I'm in my collections bin, for lack of a better term. So I'm going to move over to book, where it says book, and once I click on book, I've got it set up where it says auto layout. It automatically takes those 45 photos and drops them in for you. So they're all there to start with, but nothing has been set up the way I want it to be set up at all. So that's how you get them in there. We're in the book module now. In the book module, it sets them up by the time that they were captured. This one here for the back cover, this one here for the front cover. This is the last thing that was shot, this image here. And this was the first thing that was shot, this image there. Of course, this is auto layout. And a lot of times people will go through and do an auto layout and they'll just leave it at that. I don't like to do it that way. You want to be able to design a book and not let the software do it for you. So at this point, once you get them over into the book module, you can simply clear the layout and start building it the way you want it to be built. Or you can start actually working from here if you would. For me, it's easier to start with a blank slate. And a blank slate would be nothing in my book. When you first drop these in, it's going to do, it looks like it's done an auto page layout for you. And it put in, based on the number of images, how many images, how many pages it thinks it would need. So it gave you a cover, front and back, and 46 images. And you'll see that down here on the bottom here. And over to the right-hand side at the top where it says book settings, let's close all those off and walk through them individually. Let's close that off. Guides, sale, text, type, and background. Okay, so I'll just close everything off on the right-hand side. This is set up a lot like Lightroom in terms of the way the menu is. Your navigation is still on the left-hand side, and your tools are going to be on the right-hand side. If I were to select an image, it'll pop up in your preview box on the left-hand side. Whatever image that I select, let's do this one. Yeah, whatever image I select, it'll pop up there in that navigation preview box over there. But let's just start at the top of it and go to book settings. So the first thing you want to do is go to book settings. And this is where you decide what type of book you want to set up. And again, mine, in this case, I've got a standard landscape.
Excuse me, Bob.
Let's go to the top of it first. I'm sorry, go ahead. Who's that?
Felix.
Go ahead, Felix. I'm sorry.
When you were in the collection in the library mode, you pulled those from your collection and had them on the desktop looking at you.
Yeah.
Then you clicked on the book module, and once you clicked on the book module, it automatically picked them up from that collection that was there on the desktop, correct?
No, let me step back because that's a very important step.
I know.
We pulled these out of library mode.
Yes.
Selected them all.
Correct.
And then right-click down to the collections folder and say create a collection using selected photos.
Yes, I'm all there.
Okay, all right then. Once you do that, you click OK, it will put them into a collections folder under your collections header, the 45.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get there, you can come out of library or develop module, wherever you may have been, and go straight to that folder and click on it. Book, Camber, outing, whatever it may be, this title.
Yes.
Then you move to book.
Okay, that's the question I was asking.
Okay.
Once you click on the collection and the collection is right there looking at you, you move to book, and book would automatically put those from that collection into the book module.
Yeah, via a auto page layout, and this is
good.
Layout.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Okay, now here's another very important step. you want to, once you do that, you want to click Create Saved Book. And that you only have to do that one time per book, but create saved book. Because if you come out of this again without creating that saved book, all of that will go away from you. And then you'll be looking around like, where's my photos? Where's my album, etc. So make sure once you lay that out, create saved book. And I'm going to do that at this point in time. And this is one of those steps they don't tell you. You kind of have to stumble into it. So once you've got them in the auto layout sequence that you like, or whatever you want, once you get them into your book, create save book. And you just click that. And then
very important.
Yeah, so what it will do is it'll drop it in a sub collection under this. It's going to be inside Bill Kimber. Now let's call this Bill Kimber. And you can change the name at any time. First draft. I always like to put the date that I work on a project in. So this is July 15th, 715. So I'll create this, and it's going to create it inside of this book, inside of that album. So when I click create here, you'll see another subset fall underneath that. So create. Okay, and there it is there. So that's okay. What happened there? Okay. What happened there?
Create it.
Yeah, I don't think I get what I want to do. Oh yeah, there it is there. Okay, so there it is there. It's under there. So once you get it in there, I've got it out here as well, and I've got it inside of my book. So basically I've got two of them set up there. That's okay. This is called the outing. This is called first draft. These are the images for the outing, and these are the first draft. At this point in time, that goes away. You don't see that anymore. But it's critical if you don't go ahead and save that book. So create and save your book there to start with. Then you go into deciding what type of book you want to set up. And for all practical purposes, we're doing a blurred photo book. There's a few more that you can do. There's a magazine, there's a trade book, there's a PDF, JPEG file as well. You can do all of that under this section. The magazine is a little bit stiffer type of fabric, that the pages that they use. Trade book is almost like a comic book, but you get different levels of the books, and they will vary in price, based on what you've got selected. You can also do a PDF. I'm not sure why you do a JPEG yet, but you can also do a JPEG there. We're going to just click create blurred photo book, and that's the hierarchy we'll use. So we click that. Then the next thing you want to do is decide on the format. In this case, you can drop down to the next one. You got small square, you got standard portrait, you got standard landscape, you got large landscape, you got a large square. Right. So for this particular book, let's just do a standard landscape. As I mentioned earlier, I like the landscape design because you get the horizontal orientations, what a lot of folk are calling it now. But it's actually landscape design as opposed to portrait orientation. So it's landscape. Now, I do like to do a book, which is the 13 by 11. And this one is a 13 by 11. So what we've selected will be a little bit smaller than this, but the principles are basically the same. You'll have to decide in the end what size book you want. I like the larger books. This is a good feeling, good size book for me. I don't have any of the smaller books at all. This is the same thing. This is the same thing. This is a 13 by 11 as well. So I don't have any of the smaller books available because I don't really like those so much at all. So standard landscape, which is smaller. 13 by 11 is a large landscape. And that's what I'm going to select for this book here. So I select 13 by 11. Now also watch the price. Right now, based on the software has estimated that I've got, how many pages? 46 pages. And this book will cost me $52. So this is real time here. As you adjust these things up here, it will give you in real time version what it costs to do those. Cal, you had your hand up for a minute. Yes,
Bob.
My question is, so where you have your 46 collection over on the side there, suppose you have multiple collections of different photos from different areas. How do you put them all, how do you group those collections? Let's say you have 3 collection areas.
Yeah. It's a good idea just to put them all in one collection. So you'll have to, I would go back to my library module. Now I have not explored moving them around from collection to collection. I've not explored that at all. It sounds like you got a bunch of books over there and you want to combine them into one book. And if that's the case, what I would suggest is going back to library module and creating one big collection. Or if you got additional collections that are going to be part of this one collection, go back to the library module and move from there into this particular one. And I'll show you how to do that with this family reunion that I did. We got and Sir William and Teddy worked with the work. We've got them into 3 different days. I categorized them by day 1, day 2. I had a subset of day 2 and then a day 3. I went back to my library module and went back to, let's go back, I'll show you that real quick. Where's it? It's under M1. Where's M1? M1. Okay. I'm in library module now, and this reunion that we did was labeled as day 1, day 2, day 3, day 3A. And then I had some images where Teddy images came in. There's Teddy Friday, July 8th, so I know they belong up in that first one. There's Teddy Sunday, July 10th, so I know they belong up in there. I'd have to go back and individually pull those images out and drop them into particular buckets. But I do want to get them all into one bucket for the purposes of working with the book.
Right.
Okay. All right. So once I get them all into one bucket there, and this one, like I said, the first time you do this, you got to go ahead and create Save Book. But once I get them all into one bucket, everything will show up on the bottom that are there. And I'll go back and show that other one to you in just a little bit or so. I'll show how that actually looks out. Once it drops those images into the bucket and I'll do an auto layout for you, it'll tell you how many times it's been used in your album or your book that you're creating. Up front, it used this image here for the back cover, and it used it one time on the inside page. So it's been used twice. Here's the first one here. And I think, here's the first one here for the front cover. And it also placed it on the inside cover as well from the layout standpoint. When you're doing a book, just from a structure standpoint, most of your high-end books, I won't say high-end, but most of your professional books, you'll have a hardcover. And then when you open that hardcover on the inside, you'll duplicate that cover. So this is, you can see this is the front of the book here. When I open it up, I got an extra page here. You see duplicated on the inside page. That's what the software is trying to do for you. That's just suggesting. It doesn't have to be this way, but you'll typically have, in your more professional books, you'll have a hardcover on the outside. You open it up, and then it'll give you a inside cover, which is soft, of course. And on this page, we created something called a colophon. And I'll tell you more about it in the module. This is called a colophon page here. Okay. So, but again, what we're trying to do in part is just the foundational pieces that you put into your book. That's what we're basically doing. So you got your hand up there.
I do. I'm just trying to catch up. So you're in book settings now?
I'm in the book module.
No, let me see. You were in, so you're in the auto layout?
We've already done the auto layout.
Okay, I got that. So what's next? I'm sorry.
So now we're in the book module and we're setting up our book. And the first step is to decide what type of book you're building. This is a blurred photo book versus magazine or trade book. So that's the first step on the book settings. Then the next step is to decide your size. What book are you going to use? Landscape, standard landscape.
Okay, you have to click each one of those. Okay,
You click the arrow. Anywhere you got an arrow or chevron there,
I see them.
click on it and it will give you different sizes. You're choosing your options. You're choosing your setup. This is a setup of the book. We're not laying it out. We haven't gotten into, we've already chose our images that we want to use.
Right.
And now we're moving to the page layout standpoint.
Okay.
So at this case, the book went to a standard landscape, which is a 10 by 8 size book.
Right.
And it's going to cost us $52.17 if we leave it exactly like this. I mean, you can send us up the blurb, they'll print it exactly like it comes up for you, or like the auto layout did, but that's not what you want to do. You want to be able to design your own book.
Okay.
All right, so, and this number here is on a real-time basis. So as you make alterations, eliminating pages or adding pages, this will calculate for you. All right, so I'm going to select large landscape. That's the type of book I like to make. I'm going to select large landscape. That $52.17 should change. So if I click large landscape and say change size and relay out, this is okay. That's okay. So now that book went up to $89. From the standard size. I had a standard landscape. Now it's up to $89. This is where you start to work with the cost. You can see this as you're working with it as you go through. All right, CalStar, you got your hand up, then Felix, and then down to Wilma.
Yeah, my next question was, when you pull those photographs into the book, you did it automatically. You clicked on automatic. Supposing you want to rearrange the way those photos fall out, you don't want them to do that for you.
If you don't want them to do that for you, it's going to automatically do that once you click book. That's the way the program is set up. If you don't want them to, if you don't want the setup that they've given you, you just hit clear layout. And once you clear the layout, then you just got blank pages, and you can go through and add as you like. So, but this will give you an idea of what you're dealing with from a cost standpoint. If I clear that layout, it's going to default to, I think it's 20 pages. No, I think it's 16 pages, actually. It's going to default to 16 pages, and the book will cost you about $40 if you only use the 16 pages that it defaulted to. But you can always change that. And that's what we're going to do here at this point in time. We're going to change that. Once we drop down to auto layout, I'm going to clear this layout, and then you can start setting it up the way you want to. But it's built the way the program is built. It'll do an automatic auto layout for you. But let's just kind of continue walking through it. So I selected large landscape. So you say that's $87.97. No, that's too much. Let's go back to a standard landscape. If you go back up there, you click on standard landscape, it's going to change the size, relay it out again. It's $87.97. Let's change and relay out. And it goes back to $52. Now, it doesn't matter at this point in time. This is just kind of telling you what's going on. If you prefer to have a standard landscape, fine. If you prefer to have, in my case, the large landscape, I like that better. That's fine as well. Because everything you do to this book in the setup standpoint will contribute to the cost. So if I do a heart, and let's drop down to the next one now. I'll leave this at standard landscape. We'll drop down to the next one, which is hardcover image wrap, hardcover dust jacket, or soft cover. Let's just say we make this a soft cover. That price should go down just a little bit. It did. Yes, it did. It went down to $36 now if I make a soft cover book from 52. So it saves you about 35%, maybe 40% there. So it went down to 50. It went down to 36 from 52 is what it basically did. If you do it in soft cover, if you do it with a dust jacket, hardcover dust jacket, it goes from $52 to $51. So that just saved you a penny or two there on that one. And we'll talk about the types of covers: hardcover, dust jacket, soft cover. It's completely up to you. The pages, this does not affect the pages in terms of the quality of the page. It will still be the same on the inside of the book, whether it's hardcover, soft cover, or with dust jacket. There's some advantages to using a dust jacket. That's part of the presentation. We'll take you through that early next week. If you want to read ahead, I think you've got the draft I sent out. So if you want to read ahead, you can do that as well. And you can look at some advantages of that. Felix, questions?
Yeah. As far as the landscape, would everything be in landscape mode, or you can have landscape and horizontal?
Yeah, you can have portrait and landscape orientation inside the book. That's not a problem to do that, because you're going to.
So you can have both.
Yeah, you can have both there. You can have portrait orientation inside the book. You can have landscape orientation. You can have multiple images on a page. You can do just about anything you want inside of it.
But for the point of view, you just pick a landscape out of there.
Yeah, let's go back and look at another layout. Let's do small square. Okay, we do a small square. Let's do a standard, the portrait, which is a different orientation. That's going to be 8 by 10 versus 10 by 8. Same size book, but portrait orientation. So if you choose standard orientation, watch what happens to the shape of the book. Standard portrait, and change the layout. And now you got standard portrait. You see this page here? Instead of long, it's tall. So, so you can do it that way as well. So if you're looking at it from a format standpoint, if all the images you're capturing from your iPhone are going to be in portrait orientation, you might want to pick a book like this. If you're going to do anything in landscape orientation, you may want to pick a landscape oriented book. Now, keep in mind, no matter what orientation you choose, standard portrait, standard square, large landscape, you can still arrange those photos on the page as you like. I'm somewhat of a traditionalist, if you would, and I like the landscape orientation, which is what I'm used to seeing. You got a computer screen that sits in front of you. It's long as versus tall. It's not tall versus long. It's laid out in the like your television screen.
You're right. The reason why I asked that is because some of my photos is in landscape mode.
Yeah.
And some of them are upright.
Yeah.
So I would have both, and I can switch them page to page. I can change it around. That's what I would like to do.
You can do that inside the book. You definitely can do that.
Okay.
So I'm going to get out of the standard portrait and go into what I like to use, which is let's do a standard landscape. Okay. So now the book lays out longer than it is tall. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Then hardcover dust jacket versus hardcover image wrap is what I like to do. But if you want to do a dust cover, you can do that. If you remember back in the old days when we used to do books in school, elementary school, you come home and you wrap on a piece of newspaper or a paper bag, and that became dust cover. So that's basically what a dust cover is about. So, but they'll give you that option as well. I don't like dealing with a dust cover, so I use a hardcover image wrap. So, and that will change the price of it as well. So it went from $51.17 to $52.17 with that. With using a hardcover image wrap.
That was hardcover.
Yeah, hardcover image wrap. And we'll get used to these. We'll go back over these again and again. All right, Wilma, you got your hand up. You got a question there?
Yes, my question is, I put my pictures in chronological order as far as some collections. So how did you say that you take the photos and put them in the book? Because I have several different collections.
That's okay. We're going to get to that. You can actually, you can actually lay that book out however you want. It doesn't matter whether these are a film strip in chronological order, or I think chronological order is how they basically lay out here. But you can put them in your book any way you want, because you can move photos from one page to another. And I'll show you how to do that in just a second. But if you notice all of these, they start from this front cover is when we first left the center, arriving at the center. This is a group photo we took, and we actually started playing. These are all in chronological order. Now, I don't have to leave them in chronological order in the book, The books just the book module just went in and grabbed them up and says, okay, this one was taken on the same day at 1 o'clock. This one was taken at 1:01. This one was taken at 1:03. It's putting them in the chronological order for you there, but you don't have to leave them.
The question that I have is that I have 10 different collections. So I've got, for this book that I've started, I've got 17 pictures. How do I get the other ones? What was the procedure again to get the rest of the pictures into the book? I have 40 more pictures in a second collection.
Okay, those 4 pictures that you got in a second collection, you go in and select those images like you selected, like you created the first collection.
Okay.
And just move them into the collection that you want it to be in.
Okay.
Okay, and what I basically would do is I would do that in either library module where I select everything, and then just do a right click and click on them and drag them over to that collection that you want them in.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. So now paper type is an issue, not an issue, but it's one of the choices that will affect the price of your book. Right now, I've got it set for premium luster. There's a premium matte, there's a ProLine uncoated, ProLine Pro coated, a standard, and then a standard lay flat. A lay flat book, we haven't talked about that yet, but we'll talk to you about that a little later on. A lay flat book is basically your top of the line type of book, and it'll cost you more to do a lay flat book versus a regular book. But any of these paper surfaces are very good. Let's see what we got. Right now it's $50.17. I've got it set for premium luster. If I set it for standard, it goes down to $45. So it's about maybe a 10% savings that you get by using a standard paper. All of these are kind of caveats, and you can determine what you like once you started actually doing books. I determined that I like the premium luster or the ProLine Pearl Photo. All of those are good papers, but any one of these papers are very good. So I'm going to stick with premium luster. I'll just put it back there. It goes back up to $52. I got a question else. You got a hand up?
Yep, I got another question. I noticed you have all of your photos in your collection there, and they're laid out in the book. Did you size them to fit into the book, or does that happen automatically?
Right now, there's when you move them from your developer, your library module, they are at full resolution. So nothing's been sized other than it just pull a file over at full resolution. There's no sizing has gone on at this point in time. The only time you run into sizing issues is when you bring something outside of the book. We bring something into the book that came from outside of Lightroom. If you do your normal capture and you capture in RAW, you're going to get a full-size file inside of Lightroom to work to start with. If I go outside of Lightroom and decide, oh, there's a picture over here that I want to use, say for example, I go and I want to use Michael's image of "You can't stupid," whatever that phrase may be. It just escapes me every time I think about it. But if I want to go use a smaller image and I bring that in and I try to put it into the book will tell me this file is not large enough. It'll tell me that. That's the only time you run into the issue where sizing becomes a problem if you start in Lightroom. If you capture in your RAW format, your large format on your digital camera, import it into Lightroom. Lightroom is going to open that file up as a large file, high resolution file that the camera is capable of producing. If I go outside of Lightroom and bring a file in that I've gotten from someplace, then I'm going to have some file size issues there. Okay, Michael, you got your hand up? Michael? Guess not. Okay. And Casilo, you got your hand up?
I'm sorry about that, Bob. I thought I was good.
Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, Taylor. Just a quick question. That same picture you were talking about, it's in kilobytes. I was trying to get in megabytes. In fact, I just found it, and I'm going to run it through the Lightroom because there's an enhanced thing and see if that does anything to increase it.
Yeah, it will. It does the same thing as running it through Photoshop. I think it's a little bit more sophisticated. In Photoshop, you can open it up. And you remember we talked about extrapolating upwards. where and click that check mark and tell what you want it to be, and it'll try to make it a bigger file. It does something like that, but it's a little bit more sophisticated than that. Because I've actually had a photograph where I've had to actually do that. Come up with that file's too small. I go back in the Lightroom, hit enhance, bring it back in, and says, okay, you're ready to go now. I know what Lightroom does with it that you don't do it in Photoshop, but I almost think the process is fairly similar. But at that point in time, it was able to do it for me, but it'll make it a little bit easier for you.
And I guess the proof would be in the pudding if the book would actually accept it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, as a full page file. Yeah, that's what the proof would be. Okay, so yeah, that's basically what you would do there. Sharon, you got something?
Yes, Bob. You're going to work on this, set it up, save it. You come out. If you come back in and say you have a collection with a different name, are you going to be able to add a second collection to the same book?
Yeah, over here where we did a test on it. My first collection is over to the left. It's called Bill Kimber Golf Outing, blah, 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 45. And then I actually created another collection underneath that called Bill Kimber First Draft. Same 45 images. They're over here.
Okay.
So I've got a different name for it. You can right click on that and rename it. You can right click on it and keep it as it is and what have you. But you can do different things. The same thing I did with Brian Culberson. When I brought it in, I clicked book test 46 images, and then I renamed it a subset underneath it. Yeah, you can rename subsets underneath books as you go through that.
Okay. Well, it's me. I know I'm confused. But say you grab one of the other collections on your list over there, totally different name, not a subfolder or anything.
Yeah.
Would you still be able to include it as another section of the book?
Yeah, no, you couldn't include it as another subsection. Say, for an example, I went down to Cumberland Island.
Right.
There's 45 images there. If I click on that, I think what it will do is it will add it. Let's just look to see. And I'm not do that many. Let's do real helical stack comparison. Let's see. Here's one. Cal's questions, coding square. Let me test that theory before I do that.
Okay.
But I had to add it one by one. I had to go to that particular collection and then add those pictures one by one to the first collection.
And then you just drag and drop them. Is that what you did?
Yes, I just took one after the other, and I tried to do it as a whole, but it didn't work. So I had to do it one by one, like Talia said.
Yeah. Okay. If you did a drag and drop, let's go to Brian Culberson. Here's one here. And I want to add one to Bill Kimber's out. Let's just grab this and see if I can do that. And yes, it'll allow me to do that. Let's drag it in there. Okay, so now it's in there. If I go back to the outing, is it in there? I don't see it. Let's see. I don't. Did I pass it?
Back to the last one.
Yeah, it should be in under chronological order. I don't see it. It said that it. Oh, yeah, here it is. Here, it's not been used. It's in this film strip, so it has not been used. Let's add a page, and add a page, and yeah, I can drop it in there. Yeah, you can do it that way as well.
Or you can do auto. I did auto layout, and it reformatted them or laid them out again.
Okay, yeah, you want to experiment, go ahead and experiment, and make sure you bring, and help and bring that forth to the class and let them figure out how you did it. So yeah, you have a number of collections in answer to Caslo's question, and you can go to other collections and drag them into the collection that you're actually working on.
Okay.
In this case, I don't want to keep that image in there, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the photo. Actually, I'm going to remove that page. Plus, it created an extra page there for me. So I'm going to remove the page. And the way you do that, just right click on it and say remove page, or you can right click on it and remove photo. Either one, you can do it. Let's get the page out of there first. Okay, so that goes away and it takes me back down to the 46 that I had to start with. Okay, so that's basic setup. that you want to do. Once
So you're saying that you can't bring the whole collection at one time. You have to do it one by one?
No, you do not. You can do that. You can bring the whole collection at one time. So if you go over to Brian Culberson, and that's what we kind of just discovered, and I want to take this one. Let's see if I can hit the command key. This one, that one, that one, and then I'm going to drag all of those over. Let's see if that works. And I want to go to Bill Kimber outing, Bill Kimber first draft, and let's see. Go back to Bill Kimber first draft, and what I thought I pulled over was 3 images. In this case, I just pulled 1. So let's go back up front. Maybe it's in the front here. No, it's not. I was only able to get 1 of those images over when I did it that way. So let's go back.
One at a time.
Yeah, if you're doing it one at a yeah, I think that's what's going on there. I think you have to be in library mode to get the extra 3 in. Let's try that and see. Let me go ahead and get rid of this one here. Remove that from the collection. Number 46, I'm going to remove from the collection. So move that is out. All right, so if I go back up to library mode and I go into, let's see if I can do it from here. And I'm going to select one. Let's select a few of these. Let's select the first 4.
Yeah.
And see if I can drag that. Now, I can, you see how it gathers them up on a stack?
Yeah, I could see, yeah.
Okay. Then if I can drag that down to the album that I'm working on, and then go back into Bill Kimber first draft, then they are there. See, 40, I only had 45, so I got 46, 47, 48, and 49.
You could do it in library mode.
Yeah, you can do it in library mode. But let's go to book mode and see if it still stays there. It does stay there. They're all there that I drug over. But you have to be in library mode. It looks like to do that. I'm sure somebody will figure out a way around that, but that's what it looks like.
Clearly, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, but I don't want these in my collection, so I'm going to right click and remove them from the collection.
Okay.
That's just these 4 here. So they're out. So we're back. Excuse me. We're back to square one.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So again, we've already done the auto layout. That's when we first set up the book. But we don't want to use it from auto layout standpoint. At this point, you can go under, it's 2 o'clock, maybe we should take a break. But at this point, you can go under and clear the layout, or you can continue in auto layout and just adjust each one as you go. So let's take a quick break and we'll come back and kind of walk through how to get some of these images into some multiple images on a page, etc. So I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to pause the recording. Okay. Any questions in your mind at this point before I go back?
922 questions.
You got 22 questions?
I have a question, Bob.
Okay, go right ahead. Who's that? CalStar or is that Wilma?
This is Wilma. I decided that I don't want the book under this one catalog. I don't seem to be able to delete the book. I see you can clear the pages, but how do you delete the book?
If you want to delete a book, you clear the pages out, and then you go back to the book. The book will have 0 in it, and do a right click, and you delete the book.
Okay.
Okay. So right now I can delete. Let me find something I want to delete. Okay, here's one here called The Color Red. I don't know what's in this book here. Oops, I don't want to do that because I may wind up doing something else. Color Red, I want to do that. Bill Kimber, 45. Book test. Where's one here that I can screw up? I'm trying to think. Distortion, what is this? Right click. Right click, rename, duplicate, add color. Okay, I'll have to go back and figure that one out for you. I'm sorry. What you want to get out of your book module? Get out of your book module and go into your library or your develop. So what I'll do is I'm going to select this one called The Color Red.
Okay.
So I'm going to get out of the library. It's in a collection, The Color Red. Here it is, The Color Red. So I can go ahead and delete this, right click on this now, and just delete it.
All right, thank you.
And yeah, then it goes away. And I haven't impacted my book at all. So I can go back to the book and then go back into the module, book module, that's still there. And then the color red is gone up there and then that side. But you got to delete the entire collection, or you can delete the photos out of the book, or you can delete the book out of the collection. But I don't think the collection will go away unless you get out of the book module.
Okay.
So go back to the library. I think that's kind of the way it works there.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so we've got all this stuff in here. This is basically an auto page layout. That's what it's done. We've already saved our book at this point in time, and I don't want to use it the way the software laid it out. I still got them in the film strips in the bottom here, and it still shows the number of times the photograph was used. So at this point, I've already made my decisions about standard layout, hardcover image wrap, type of paper, logo on page. So here's one other thing here. Blurb puts a logo at the end of your book. I'm going to scroll all the way down. And I'm going to select one page so you can see this. It puts a logo at the end of your book. Let's do a 2-page so you can see the layout. It puts a logo in the book. This is the back of the book. Are you seeing screen okay? I didn't ask that.
Yeah.
All right, let me get my spot right here. This is a 2-page layout. We'll get down to this in just a second. But the back of the book has to close with a white page, and the front of the book has to close with has to open with a white page. That's just the way they set a book up. This little blurb logo here saves you about 20%, I believe. If I leave that logo in there, then the book is going to be $52.17. If I take that logo off, the book goes up to $63, just about 10% of savings that you get from just leaving that in there. And that's going to be up to you whether you want to have that logo or not. If you're doing work for a client and you don't want them to see that logo, you can take it out and just pass the cost on to the client. If you do work for yourself and you don't mind having that logo in there, you save yourself 10%. If you don't want it in there, you can take it off, and it's going to cost you about 10% more to leave it, to take it off. But that's just another way of controlling price, and it's real time. You see it happen as you do it.
Is it very small, Bob?
Yes, this is a book itself. So in relation,
okay, so that's tiny. I could leave that there.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I got a little book with it back there, so I'll take the discount every place I can get it.
That's right.
CalStar, you got your hand up, Cal?
Yeah, I might have came in a little late. Going back to creating your collection, you did have a folder with all of your files in it, so that was easy to create. But let's say I wanted to create a folder with a number of different files that come from other places. You loaded all of your files into that collection, but I'm wondering how, if I want to make a collection with those 3 or 4 categories in it, is that come under one collection or just?
Yeah, you can still get that into a single collection from your library module. I'm going to go out to library module, and let's go up and find some others that are in different collections here. Let's say, that's day 3 there on Tybee Breast. I'm just trying to find something that'll work.
Anything,
yeah, just by, here's Atlanta downtown. Okay, so let's just say I want this one. I'm gonna hold the option key down, that one, and then I'm gonna right. So go down here, and then I'm gonna add those. I should be able to add those to a collection. Go to collection. Right now it doesn't show me a collection there. Add to quick collection. Nope, don't do it there. So I got those 3 selected out, but I'm in library model. So at this point, let's click off that. So at this point, you go to your library, we got those images that are stored, and then you go back to the book and the collection that you want to add them to. And let's see, where is it? Bill Kimber outing. You click, select all.
Phone number 6.
Let's go to develop. Let's go to develop module, and I click on the 3 that I want to add, and then I can, where is it?
Not going down. I'm taking more than.
Oh, this is a problem I'm having here. Let's see, add to a collection. I got to figure that add to a quick collection. I got to figure that one out for you, Cal.
That's all right. We got plenty of time.
Yeah, because what I thought I could do was go into library and select those 3 there, but see, when I click on one, then I lose the other 3. I just did that a minute ago. And if I go to, I'm in library module here, so I click on the 3. Can I just grab those up? I got to figure that one out for you, because it's not operating like I'm thinking it should operate at this point in time.
I thought if you did.
Didn't you just do it?
Command.
I just did it a minute ago. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just did
do
it.
command and then
That's
click on
because
that photograph and
highlighted.
it'll pick it up.
You
Yeah,
highlighted the 4 first.
I've got them highlighted. If I do that, let's just say these. I don't want to highlight all of them. He just wants a certain number out of there.
Right.
And then if I click on that and drag it, it doesn't go. So I just, but like I just did it just a minute ago.
Yes, you
You have
did.
to, you have to drag it from the thumbnail.
Only in the library mode, which you're not in right now.
Yeah.
Right. The library mode highlighted the 4.
Now there's a highlight.
And right. And then did a
But
then
as
you
soon as I click on it to drag it, it's not going.
No, it drags from the thumbnail.
That is the thumb.
I mean, down at the bottom.
no, he didn't do it
You
that
gotta
way.
be on the picture.
Oh, okay, mine drags from down there.
I did it that way as well. Cal, we'll figure that out for you. So that's what I want to get into different ways of doing this, because everybody's going to wind up with a different way of doing it. So let
I
me
got
go back
another part to that question.
Okay, go ahead with your other question then, if you would.
Okay, let's say you created 3 collections in your collections, 3 different collections. Can you add those all together?
Yeah,
Maybe
by
one-
dragging
make
them
one
into
collection.
one collection. Yeah, you can do that. You can say for, let's see, what is this artist top panel? Let's see, I'm in library mode, and I'm still in the collection module.
I just drug mine over.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to work, Talia. If you would, hold on a second. Go to collection, artist talk panel, go to I've got to figure that one out for you. You should be able to just take this and add it to another collection here. Go to collection, then that collection group is not in here. This is a collection that is called. All right. So Cal, I'll have to work that one out for you. Let me come
No
back.
problem, no
Let
problem.
me circle back on that one. Because like Diane, like you said, I just did that just a minute.
Yes, you did.
And that's why when it's inconsistent like that, I'm blaming that on the Zoom link that we're in that may be dragging it down or something of that nature. That may be causing an issue with it. But let's go back to our book that's in collection, go back to our book module, and we'll kind of walk through that. Okay, but I'll get that figured out for you next time, but before the next time we meet. All right, once you got it basically set up, this is all auto layout. If you want to clear this and start building it on your own, you can do so at this point in time. And what I would suggest to you that you do is just over the weekend, over the break, before we meet again, just go in and play with it and try to get familiar with it. But you can change these pages out to however you want them to be changed out as. So let's go. I'm going to go ahead and clear this layout. It's already in auto. I'm going to clear it. Once I hit clear, they all go away. But I still got my film strip down here on the bottom. Okay. And at this point in time, I'll just add some more pages to it. To do add pages, close auto layout at this point in time and go to page and then add a page. If you want a certain type of page, what I do is I hit this drop down here. I like to use the pages with one photo and with a little bit of a margin around them. If I choose this page here, there's no margin around it. If I choose this page here, there, I can add a page with a margin around it. The page will look like this here. So let's add a page. And we can just do that all the way through. Well, that's not adding the margin. Yeah, that's what it's doing. Okay, so it's the margins. I've just got it turned off. Let's go down to guides and turn all the guides back on. Okay, so the guides are back on now. We'll get back into that in just a second. I wasn't saying my margin around these pages. If you look at these are your guides and margins. If this is not on, they won't show up as blank pages. So, but it's getting ahead of what I want it to be. So let me just turn those back on. They should be on by default. But once you decide you want to add more pages, you can decide what types of pages you want to add as well. So right now, it's set for one photo. I'm going to set one up for 3 photos. Let's drop down to where it says 3 photos. And then I'll choose the 3 photo page type that I want. Let's just say we want to add this page here. So now I've got 3 photos on a page. Now you can start building your book from there just by dragging from the from your build strip. This is your first. What they recommend is building your cover first. I recommend building your cover at last. That's just the way I build a book. I come back and do this cover page, back cover last. So these are all in chronological order based on the way they were shot. Now, if you have a strip where they may not be in the order or the sequence that you want, you can drag and drop them in there any way you want. So just to kind of show you how that works. Now, we're not going to learn how to build a book this afternoon, but we're going to kind of get into the steps of it so we'll give you enough to practice with over the weekend. AJ, you got a hand up there? Annie? If you're talking, unmute yourself. Okay, Felix, you got a question? You got a question?
No, I took it down. You answered for me, putting the border around it.
Okay, all right. So I mean, that's just the way I like to start off. I like to, and this just comes from prior knowledge of page layout and design. I like to start with a nice clean border around it. Okay, so let's go to this cover page here first. The inside cover page. If I were going to use this on the outside, I would put it here as with the hardcover. But let's just show you how this actually works. I'm going to grab this image here and just drag up and drop it on that page. Okay. Then I'm going to grab, say, this image here, put it on that page. You can go through the whole process of doing it like that if you like to do so. Just drag and drop the images. What you have is different views. Who's that? Somebody's yelling out.
I'm sorry, I have my hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I beg your pardon. Go ahead.
I just didn't see how you got when you were doing the pages, I didn't see how you got the second page on. You know, where you had 3 images on one page and 1 image on the other. I didn't see how you get that other page on.
Let's just say we want to add a blank page. And you do that over here under the tab that says page. Add a page wherever you are in the book, it'll add it next. So if I've already got this, let's say if I'm selected here, if I add a page, it's going to come in here. So I go over to the side here and I click on this page drop down and decide the type of image, how many images I want to have on a page or how many photos. I can do 1 photo, 2 photos, 3 photos, 4 photos. And when I click on one of these tabs, it gives me an option of pages to choose from. You can pages. I've got 2 square and 2 rectangle, 2 square and 2 rectangle. I can add text to them. This is one with photos and text. If it's grayed out, it's a full photo. If it's lines next to it is text. I can add photos, panoramas all across on the top. I can add 4 square on the top. But let's just add 4 photos to the next page. Click that, and then it'll turn that page into 4 page. I
mean the other side. See the side over there that's blank in that book? You got page 1, page 2. Page 1 is blank.
This, you can't add anything.
Right there.
You can't add anything there. That's the back of your cover.
Oh, okay. Oh, you on the cover? Okay, I thought inside. All right.
This is the inside here, but this is the back of the cover here.
Okay.
So when I flip this over, you're going to have that gray page back there. That you can't add any pages there, and you can't add any pages to the end of the book, but you can add them in between. So there's nothing can be added to the inside back or the inside front.
Okay.
That's going to be a blank page. If you look in your book, this is that page here. This one on this side.
Yeah.
That's back of the cover.
Okay. So when you open the book and have 2 blank pages, and you want to add, once you open the book past that, and you want 2 more pages, when you add, they just go on automatically to both sides?
Yes, if you add 1 page, let's go and add this one page here. So we got 6 pages now. If I add a page, it gives me 2 more pages, 7 and 8. If I add a page, it gives me.
Okay, I see them going in. Okay.
Yeah, it just keeps the
Thanks.
sequence because what you've got is 2 sides. You got a 2-page spread
Okay.
basically to your book. Okay. If you want to move pages around, let's just say I will start off by having this page over here. So let's just take this page here and move it back over here. Once that little yellow block comes up, I can move that page over here. There we go. Well, let's go. Let's move this page over here then. There you go. Okay. So you can move pages around like that as well as you're building, your layout. Okay. You decide you want to change a page from 4 pages to 3 pages, up to 3 photos. You go back, select the 3 photo option and click on that. And you got a 3-page photo option. If you have photographs that support that, you can move them into those areas there.
Okay. That's what I was talking about. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Here's a, let's just say if I wanted to add this photograph here to, let's make this a 1-pager here. And I meant 1 photo. That. And let's make it a panoramic spread. Which really doesn't do that justice. We took this photograph and put it up here. You've got that. Now, once you do your basic layout, then you go in and start to fine tune it. Let's just look at these 2 here. Right now, we're looking at the full spread. The next icon on the bottom left will give you different views of it. So this is a view of it here. This is a single page view of it here. So this one here, kind of let's see what we want to do, but I don't want this photograph on 1 single page. So let's go back into full page view, add another page, and I'm going to drag this. I'm going to do a full page bleed on this one here. Let's see, do that, and 2 spread is what I want for this one here. It'll cover the 2 pages, and I'll do that one. And I'll move this photograph over here. And now it spreads the entire page. And that's one of those situations where what you call your money shot. Let's go back. Get as a 2-page spread, has a little bit of glitter in it. And let's make sure. And it auto size is a 14%. Let's take that down. That looks about right. I don't want to lose anybody on the edges, so I would probably do a full page spread like that. Then I can move it around up and down. So what have you. So that becomes a very nice shot when you got a panel or something that you consider a money shot. When you open that up, you got a full 2-page spread. And we got Michael in the gutter there. Now, if I had...
Well, that's what I was about to say. Can you just shift me over a little bit and put her in the gutter?
Well, what I was going to recommend doing, Michael, this is a lay flat book, standard book. Where is it here? Hardcover, premium luster. Go ahead and make this a standard lay flat. And did it auto layout? If I made this a standard lay flat book, I have to go ahead and change the whole book now. This would be flat here. Oh, let's go back. But lay flat, standard lay flat, which would actually get rid of that. But I'd have to go back in the whole book. I'd have to go back and reset it up. I can't just do 1 page lay flat. It's going to ask me to do the whole book that way as well. Yeah, you could make this a little bit larger, and let's put somebody else in the gutter here. You could do it that way as well.
There you go. That's it. That's the right one.
You go ahead to cut the lady off here. Just go that, make it smaller. I mean, you can make some adjustments here, but then you got a lot of white space on the right hand side, on either side. When I want to just do a full page bleed with that.
We just take them out, forget it.
No, it's just going to a flat book. But that's a consideration that you'd have to make when you did that. Consideration that you have to make when you're doing that type of book.
That's right. You're right in the middle, Michael. We just have to get rid of you.
Or Phoenix, you could just drag and drop him in this on the side in the bush around there.
So then you just start adding photographs to your book as you see fit. Let's just add a couple here. Add a couple here. And then you just go through the entire book, just doing that type of thing. This is a kind of a detail shot. This is another full page layout. This would probably, number 20, would probably make a nice cross the gutter because you don't have anybody in the seam there at all. That's a pan shot there. But that's basically how you start laying one out and kind of work from there. Now, we're jumping ahead because there's a lot of stuff under sequencing, sorting, page layout, type, and that kind of stuff that we need to cover as well. But what I wanted to do was give you enough information to kind of get started where if you want to play with this over the weekend, you could do so. Then once you finish doing all your page layout and design, and it may take a week or 2 weeks to get something actually done, and then you will send the book off to Blur. Before we get to that, let me get some of these hands down. I got Felix, your hands up, and Michael, then Annie. Felix?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, you made me forget where I was.
Okay, we'll defer and come back.
I defer.
I'll come back to Michael, then Annie. Michael?
Yeah, I took it down.
AJ?
I have a question.
My question is, will it tell you if you have used the photo twice?
If you use a photo twice, yeah. As you're going through your, let's go back over here. Let's say, for example, this image here with the golfer with his head down, I'm going to just put this in the book again. And you get a 2 that shows up there. So it tells you can photo twice.
Oh, okay.
That's what these little black tabs are up at it. If there's no tab on it, you haven't used the photo. If there's a tab on it with a number, that's the number that you've used. You've used that photo, and there's a number of times that you use it. So in this case, the golfer was head down. I've used that twice.
Oh, okay.
Now once you start laying it out, what I suggest is just go through and place your photos in it. And then once you got it completely laid out, then you start working on your layout. So the initial phase of that is to choose your photos, what we mentioned this morning, that you're going to use, lay out your photos, and then go in and fine tune. So let's say we want to work on this. Let's go here first. We'll click on this image here, and then we go, this is the first icon to the left is a full spread view. The second icon is a 2-page spread view. The way you want to work on a page at a time is in 1-page view. You're going to move it up so you can actually see what's going on. And you can see heads are chopped off, etc. The software is going to automatically try to fill it for you. So what I would suggest doing, just click on the image and the center of it. You'll have a zoom feature that pops up on top. Pull that zoom all the way down to see the entire photograph. And once you get that zoom all the way down, then you can adjust the sides of it. This is from here on this side and from here on that side. That's called padding. And you can squeeze that in. This is where it gets a little tricky. Close your padding. You can move this image around a little bit. You can set it. Your guides are very important. These little gray marks around here. These are what's called safe areas to move images into. If, for an example, you want to have it file a little bit larger, you can take it over to the edge, take this over to the edge and zoom it out. And then once you zoom it out, you can move it around inside of it to where it makes sense to you. The one down here, same thing. It'll automatically default to try to fill the cell. It's called a photo cell, I think. It's going to automatically try to fill the cell, but you can pull it down to get all of it in. Same thing here, put down to get all of it in. So you want to try to be consistent with your images that you're putting in here. And then the center portion here actually allows you to move it up or down or left or right. And that's where it gets a little jiggy for me, so to speak, because you see it's starting to snap to it's not a smooth transition as I would want it to be. But that's kind of the nature of the beast of the program, if you would. So, but that's how you kind of get started with it.
Okay. So if you keep it in a 3-2 or what, a 4-5 format, they should fit well. Is that right?
I like to use a 4-5, which is an 8-10, and a 3-2, which is our normal aspect ratio. But if you get something where this looks like a 3-2 and the photograph looks like 4-5, if you get somewhere you want to make it fit inside of that, you can always zoom it to fit that cell, and then you can adjust it from there. But sometimes that doesn't tell the whole story for me. I'm already up at 9%. Can I get that 3-2 in there and still tell the whole story? This is where you have to kind of tweak it a little bit. Maybe that would fit. It feels a little tight to me because I like to show a little bit more of that golf cart. But maybe I would wind up with something like that. But you grab this to move it from side to side or up and down. And that's the problem that I'm trying to work through now. It's just kind of, it's a little bit jiggy, if you will. So.
Yeah, because one side is close and the other side is off, so it doesn't look like it's straight.
Yeah.
So how do you that's straight on the page?
And that's the other thing. You have to kind of eyeball that. Now I can line it up with the one on the top by this guy on here on the left right hand side. I can line it up with that, and this one here.
Yeah.
Let's grab this and do it. And I can line it up with that, but it doesn't seem to flow smoothly for me. And I can't just click on it and then just use my cursor key to move it over. So once you do, you have to kind of play around with it and understand basically how it works. Okay. Once I've got it pretty much located like I want, then I will go to a 2-page and see how it plays against the other photograph. Now this one over here again, this one's already fill the frame up, and it dead centered it. It's laying out like it's supposed to. And you don't have to decide what you want on a page, whether you want 1 photograph, 3 photographs, etc. But and this gets into the module. And once we finish the module out, we'll talk about how you make photographs relate to each other. For example, this photograph here, the guy's looking to his right or left, depending on orientation. He belongs on the other side of the book. Let's go back and put him in let's put him on this side and see how that works. And you can drag that simply over by doing it this. Let's drag this one over then, see if it'll go that way. So now when you do this, he's looking in that direction. He takes you to the next photograph, so to speak. Now, ideally, the next photograph should be something that's golf related and not necessarily starting the book or starting or what have you. But he's looking in that direction, so you want him to go in that direction. You want the photograph, you want something to be in the direction that he's looking in. Same way as you develop or designing a photo, you have to follow some rules of page layout, design, and composition, and then you have your photographic rules of design and composition as well. Okay, so let's go back to the full spread. Once I'm finished with all of this, then I simply click send book to blurb, and it goes off to blurb. I'm not going to send this particular one, but I will go up to blurb and show you one that it has been sent up, and I'll show you a little bit more about things there. All right, so Annie, Talia, I think your hand is up next. Is that correct?
Before it goes off to blurb, Bob, are you able to close this book and flip your pages yourself?
No, not this one.
I mean, you know what? So we actually know what it looks like, or
No,
we have to look at it in this format.
The only way we can do that is let's go back up here to this one and go to 2-page format. You can go to 2-page format and then scroll through.
Okay, you have to scroll through.
Yeah, you scroll through.
Okay.
You're not actually flipping the pages.
Okay.
Yeah. And let's add a photo here. And let's add a photo here. Yeah, you can actually scroll through it, but you can't flip the pages through it.
Okay.
What have you. Okay. Now, once you're done with all the layout and all your tweaking, there's other things that you can do. You can add page numbers. You can decide where you want the page number to be. We'll get into that a little bit later on. You can do things with text, add photo text to it. We'll get into that a little bit later on. But say you finished your book and you click send to blurb. Once you send it to blurb, it goes up to your dashboard. It goes up to your blurb dashboard, and then it'll tell you you've got so many days to order the book, etc. It'll tell you once you upload it. And this then you preview it here. Let's do a preview. Once you do your preview, you could actually flip the pages at that point in time and look at your book from there. So flip those, etc. So you can go from there. That's what you can basically do with it as we move back and forth as well as you do it. Okay, but this is a book that I've started to work on, not finished it yet. But simply click and send book to blurb. Now there's some things we'll get into a bit later on also, but I won't get into a lot of that point in time. But this just kind of shows you what you can do. I don't want to start a whole another discussion if we don't have to at this point. So I think that's pretty much enough I want to cover for this afternoon. Any questions at this point? Cal, question about moving from one collection to another.
One of the questions that I have is originally when we started, when you had all of your photos and you automatically put them in your book. Now I see we can drag and drop them into our separate pages. In other words, we lay out separate pages and drag our photos into those pages.
Yeah.
Without, as long as you have your collection photos on the bottom, then you can drag them, but you have to make pages. You have to say how many pages you want. Let's say 15 pages or so.
Yeah. So I think what it does is gives you, let's see, auto layout. Let's clear this layout. The default for this is what? I still showed it. I clear the layout. Let's go all layout. This, what it's doing here is taking all of the images that you've had when you get to the auto layout. And that's a $95 book there, single page. But you don't want to do that. That's kind of where to start. So you want to clear that layout. And once you get them in here, you can set them up as just the way you want them to be set up. Just remember though, this is the back cover, this is the front cover. This is the inside back, inside front, and this is the inside back. So you start adding your pages from here. So if we want to do that, let's add a page. And this is where your format. Start with white space. And over on this side, it's the same thing. You just go ahead and add them. I've already picked the format. And what I'm not understanding is, since I've cleared this out, why do I still have a price up here? Oh, I got it as a standard lay flat book at this point in time. So, all right, well, let me show you. Where's Michael's image here again? Let's do, see how that actually works. Let's click on this. And let's do a 2-page spread. And let's do a little bit of a border. Now this is a standard lay flat. So, and I'll pull this up here. But I'm still seeing a gutter. That's what I wanted to see was going to change different. I've selected as a standard lay flat. But if you do a lay flat book, that gutter won't be there at all. But that lay flat book also jacks up the price. Let's go and change it back to a standard. And the price dropped down to $36. That's almost 50% markup if you do a lay flat book. So we don't have the gutter there, so to speak here.
Staples in it.
I told you to take them out and move them to the end.
It's well worth the money. Keep it flat.
Here you go. Let's put Bill in the gutter here. Then you could add some text over here if you wanted to do that.
Just drag and drop him on the left-hand side.
This is one of those photos that you call your money shot that you want to feature and hide everybody. Felix, got a question?
Yeah. What happens if you have a photo that's already have a border around it?
You should not put photos in that has borders around them.
So you got to take the borders off.
Yeah, you should start with a raw file, not raw file. You should start with a clean file.
Okay.
Bring something with a photo in it, or border around it. It'll be there. It'll show up. And what you could probably do, and I shouldn't say like that flippantly, Felix, because it's a legit question, is to probably zoom out where you could kind of put that border behind the guidelines.
Okay.
So if you got a little bit of a border and you zoom out, and you can probably hide it behind the border there, but you should start with just a clean photo.
All right.
That's what you should. All right. Okay, that's as much as I think we want to do on the
Not
book
too
this
loud.
afternoon. Let me stop at this point.
Give me how much, that's as much as you're going to do. You do any more, I'm going to blow up.
Yeah, we all do that. All right, let's talk about homework this due. I got some homework that was coming in this week, and we don't want to bring homework in this week, or we didn't want to. So the first assignment is due next week. And again, it's going to be from our theme-based stuff that we've been doing. I don't want this. I want my agenda. Where is it? Theme-based. This is our homework for next week. Let's get here and see what we're doing. We're going to pull anything we want from here using theme-based. Keep in mind that we've expanded the monochrome photography to include specific color. Where's Angela? That was at her request that we did this. And I think it's a good idea that we do that. So rugby up here, or Rigby up here is red, green, blue, yellow. And I gave you some ideas. A yellow palette, monochrome palette would be all yellow. Monochrome palette, green would be all green. You can do the same thing with blue. But if you do monochrome, keep in mind monochrome is also black and white as well. And then under abstract, we added a little bit of a category to abstract. This is at Cynthia's request that they've learned how to do some abstract stuff. And abstract doesn't have to be the example that I gave you. It may be some other type of abstract that you use, but fit it to your category and move it in under abstract photography. Abstract is a fun environment in which to work. So homework is due next Tuesday night by 10 o'clock, and I'll put that in the bucket and we will go from there. That's what we'll do. And there was one other thing, but I don't think I'll get to that this afternoon. I think I've already overstayed welcome. So that's all I got for this afternoon. So homework in next week, Tuesday at 10.
That's right, Teddy. Homework is due next week, Teddy.
Okay, Theodore. I don't know what that's all about. I'm gonna leave.
Did you see any that I sent in for this week?
Yeah, you sent actually two images. One you'd already used, so I took that one out of the bucket. The daylily with the green background, you already used that one. The butterfly, I did put in the bucket. If you want to use that for next week, feel free to do so.
Yeah, I'll find something else. But
Okay.
you can put it up.
Okay, that's but we're not doing homework this afternoon, of course.
Sounds good. I couldn't handle it anyway.
Okay, all right. And what I'll do, Barry, is try to set something up with you early in the week, Monday or Tuesday. I'll actually do a Zoom call to kind of help you with some of those issues we talked about this morning.
Sounds good.
Okay, all right. Let me know what's a good day for you. Monday or Tuesday is better days for me. Okay.
Monday probably looks better.
All right, I'm gonna put down Monday. I'll try to set up on Monday morning early.
We have to. It would no. What
Come
time?
on, Barrington.
No. I'm Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I am busy. So, like in the morning, Monday morning, I have a exercise class at 10:30.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't want to get into your calendar. Just let me know what day is good for you. Let me know that. And then
All right. Okay, I will do that. I'll set it up.
Okay. All right. Very good, folk. Have a good rest of the weekend, and I'll see you next
You
week.
do the same and don't blow me up.
Thank you for a wonderful process. I'm still working on mine in my head.
Okay. Very good.